Karl, thank you first of all for coming up here today and being a part of this. You have truly been out and about since you started. You've really gotten a lot of input for EPA from the people in your 4-state district.
I have. In fact, in the 18 months I've been on the job, I've met with thousands of people here, lots of them in agriculture. I'd say that my understanding of the work we do at EPA has gotten much better because I now know more about how ag works here.
Well, agriculture, what do you think they want from the federal government? Do they want you to get out of their lives, or they want you to regulate them at a reasonable level?
I suspect what they want is reasonable, effective regulation in the interests that they're trying to serve too. They want to be good neighbors. They want to be good stewards of the land and the water resource. That's what we aim to do to help them on. Sure, there's going to be disagreements along the way. There always are between people of good faith, but our job at EPA is to take care of water quality, but to work with the producer to do that.
Let's talk about the region you represent. When you get down to it, it is, to me, one of the most critical in America.
We sit at the juncture of the North American continent's two great rivers. Iowa's blessed to have the Mississippi on the east, the Missouri on the west. Hundreds of thousands of miles of waterway here. So doing the water job, it's every Iowan's job, and I think EPA can be a strong partner there.
All right, let's jump into major issues. Let's take one of them, which continues to come up, is air quality, particulate matter, the potential of regulating dust.
Yeah, that potential for regulating dust may have impact near big cities or near major industrial facilities if the agency improves the protection that we offer right now. It will not, if this region has anything to do about it, change the way that we monitor for dust in rural areas. In other words, we only have a handful of monitors in rural Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas. That's because the people aren't there to protect. The law wants us to go where the public health is. That's near big cities and near big industrial combinations.
All right, what are you protecting them from? Is there a particulate matter, a size of it, that is one of the things that you're watching for?
Yeah, the smaller particles called PM 2.5 lodge down in our lungs. They cause cancer, they cause emphysema. They're a known agent for disease. The larger particles tend to be more up in our nasal passages, but again, they make us sick. They take years off our life. They reduce our productivity. That's why for 40 years Congress has asked the EPA to do the job of protecting us against these particulates.
Can you say that those particulates come from agriculture?
Well, every business that generates any land movement is going to generate dust, but here's the important point, and I know people in ag know this. The dust particles generated from plowing or tilling or just driving a pickup down the road, those are of a size and type that are way bigger than those that EPA is supposed to regulate. Our job is to take care of the very fine particles that we breathe deep down into our lungs and that can sicken and kill us.
All right, let's turn to water quality. A lot of people are concerned that because of hypoxia in the Gulf of Mexico or other restrictions that EPA wants to place on bodies of water, when you come upstream, we're going to be out of compliance and we've got to make major changes.
The important point here in Iowa is I have been directed by my boss, Administrator Jackson, to work with producers on the ground and to work with state government here in Iowa. I'm meeting with the Department of Agriculture, Secretary Northey, Department of Natural Resources, Director Landy, to work on solutions that Iowans build to solve Iowa's water quality problems. We're not planning on, and we don't have any intention to, impose national EPA nutrient standards in the state of Iowa. We think the system that we already have in place will work to produce better protections. We just have to put our shoulders to the wheel.
I know you're not adversarial, but do you find that this state is willing to work with you in the way that you need?
Iowans will work with anybody to accomplish a good project if they understand the value of the project and they are listened to. We think the value of the project, clean water, is something that every Iowan agrees on, and we are certainly taking every effort to listen to Iowans and make them part of the solution. In fact, they have to be the architects of the solution.
All right, I'm going to get you out of your comfort zone with this.
Sure.
We're coming up on $1 trillion cut in spending. Some of it's got to hit EPA. Can you do the job you need to do with less staff and less money?
We'll do it different, Ken, if the Congress appropriates us less money. We won't be able to have the resources that we've had in the past, but the jobs are going to continue. The Congress shows no sign of backing away from the Clean Water Act or the Clean Air Act, any of the pesticide protection laws that we carry out. We'll have to work better with our stakeholders. We'll have to work smarter with our state partners. We'll have to be faster and nimbler. We can do the job. It'll just be done in a different way, and I think a better way too.
Karl, thank you for coming up here. Thank you for being at the State Fair.
You bet, Ken. It's always great to be at the fair and always good to visit with you. Thanks for taking the time.